It is week 3 of our Messy Crafty Fun Bring On Spring edition, and this week, blank sheet of paper. You can stop by the library and pick up your week 3 bag if you'd like. If not, at home, you can get a piece of paper, a pencil, markers, crayons, your choice. And on this, we are going to make your hand, but in 3D. So let's get started. You can see I have my paper, a pencil. I have a black Sharpie. You just need a black marker and a straight edge. I'm going to use a ruler. It's up to you what you use. You can use the edge of a book if you needed to, but I prefer the ruler. Okay, so for me, I have a giant hand, so I'm going to, I'm going to keep my paper in portrait mode for my hand, but if you have a tiny hand, you can actually fold this paper in half and make 2 of them if you want. I'm going to get actually my little assistant, and I'm going to do half a sheet here. So I have my assistant with me, and you can see that she has her hand on the paper, what will be portrait style, because you can see we have it folded in half. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to lightly trace her hand. Make sure I get the wrist in there. Okay. So here's her hand all traced, but you can see along the tops of her fingers, I kind of have jagged lines. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to basically go over the outline again, straighten it up a bit, and also make it a little bit darker. Just going to quickly go around and erase all those extra lines that I don't need from my pencil, any smudges. And voila, we have her hand. So now this is up to you. You can go through and actually measure out your lines and have perfect lines using your ruler, every 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, whatever you choose, line up and make your lines that way. Or you can just do your best and freehand the lines. If you're going to measure out your lines, I definitely recommend using a pencil. However, if you are just going freehand with it, go ahead and grab your Sharpie or your black marker and kind of eyeball how far apart you want your lines. You're going to go through, make a line, stop at your hand, and then continue across after your hand. So see here, we did not make a line through our handprint or wrist in this case. And we're going to keep doing that all the way up, not making any lines inside of the handprint. Get the hang of it on your wrist area. And then we're going to get to the finger area, and it gets a little tricky. So you're going to still keep going with the same technique, trying not to get any lines inside of your handprint. So I'm going to start over here, start my line, stop at the thumb, go in between the thumb, and then come over by the pinky and finish my line. And I'm going to do the same thing again. Line, stopping at the thumb, and then over by the pinky. And eventually I'm going to get to the finger area, and it's going to be a matter of stopping your lines at your handprint and then starting them in between each one of your fingers. And then stopping, and then starting, and then stopping, and then starting. And you're going to keep going with this all the way to the top of your page. All right. Now, once you have all of your lines outside of your hand complete, you're going to take your pencil and we're going to work on the inside. So you are going to see how you have your lines here. You're going to make a curved line inside of your handprint. So you're connecting one side to the other based on the lines that you've already drawn. Now I have to be honest, I'm doing this, but I definitely have probably a lot of erasing to do. We'll see when I switch it around. Actually, let me just do this and then we're going to turn it a little bit. Yeah, okay, so you can see I have a slight curve to my line, but I actually would like them to curve up a little bit more. So I'm going to go in and just readjust those lines a little bit. Some of them might get readjusted a lot. Let's see. So a nice curve inside of your handprint. Connecting the straight lines on the outsides of your handprint. And like I said, I'm just going to go back in here and kind of give these a little more curve. Just a lot of erasing. Do the best you can. You're going to keep working your way up your wrist into your hand, making your curved lines. If you have a hard time lining up both sides, you can use a straight edge or a piece of paper so that you can keep your lines straight, because they get a little tricky, especially when we start to get to the finger area, which is coming up next. So you can see here, you're going to start getting to the point where you have almost invisible lines because you obviously didn't go straight through your hand with your straight line. You're making curved lines. So you have to kind of imagine where the line would be. Now this has gotten me a few times where I've messed up and I have had to go back and fix my lines because all of a sudden they just didn't work. So this is very, very tricky, and I know that. And it actually gets easier when you get to the finger area, where you're just going to be connecting. See here, I'm just trying to make sure I got my lines right. Okay, so see, you're connecting to nowhere because the line would be hidden behind the middle of your hand. Now we're going to start getting ready to go pretty much straight across-ish. See here, straight across, and you can start filling in the finger area. These are a little bit easier because obviously they're smaller, so it's easier to see where your lines are connecting. See here, straight across, straight across, straight across. Well, not straight across, obviously. We're making curved lines, but you're following your straight lines across your page. Don't worry if you find yourself doing a lot of erasing. I definitely have found myself doing a lot of erasing. there you have it. Now you can see, I've noticed that the more lines you do, the better 3D effect you have. But that is completely up to you. I'm just going to clean up a little bit of my pencil lines, and then I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to go over the curved lines we have put inside of our hand with the Sharpie. All right, so once you finish tracing out your pencil lines, it will look like this. I'm going to take my eraser and go through and get rid of any of those extra pencil lines inside of my hand. Quick erase. I don't know if I'm going to have any eraser left on my pencil. All right, looks good. So you can see the difference already. Now it's time for some color. Naturally, my assistant has picked the colors of the rainbow, kind of pink instead of red. Now for me, the easiest thing to do so that I don't mess up my pattern is to go ahead and take the caps off of all these markers. And I am going to start with my pink and just run a quick line of the color in each one of my lines. So just kind of make the pink line, do a quick trace, and put it off to the side. I'm going to grab the orange, quick trace, I'm going to do the same with each one of the colors. Here in the wrist, it's not nearly as tough to see where your lines go. But when you get up into your thumb and your fingers, having a line to follow before coloring helps a lot. There we go. Movie magic. So you can see here, look. So once you get up into like the fingerprint area, it's definitely a little tougher to follow the line. So having this inside there definitely helps. Okay, so now I'm going to caps back on all my other markers. I'm going to go in and I'm going to color in each one of my sections here, following my pattern. It's up to you how you choose to do this. You can go back and forth between all your colors, working your way straight up the page, or if you're like me, I already have the pink out, so I will find my next pink line and I will just continue working my way up the page. And there we go, my last pink line. Take my pink, put it off to the side, and I'm going to keep going with my pattern all the way up the page. Yes, you guessed it, movie magic. So I'm going to fill in this last purple line. And my pattern is complete. Okay, now I'm going to, I already have the purple out, so I'll start with the purple. I'm going to go through and put a little bit of color, extra color, all along the outside of my handprint. Just a little bit. See here in between each one of my fingers. Well, her fingers. But only along the outside of my handprint. You see how that's a little bit darker as I put it on the page? I'm going to do that with all of the colors of my pattern. And here is my 3D hand. You can see how adding a little bit of extra color has given it almost like a shadow appearance. I hope that you guys love this project. And I hope that you were able to get your hand in 3D on your paper. I would love to see them. Show them to me. You can bring them in and show them to me. You can send me a picture, whatever you'd like. I would love to see your 3D hands. And I know that this was a little tricky, matching up all the lines, making straight-ish lines. But you guys are amazing, and I'm sure you did a really amazing job. I will see you again next week for some more messy, crafty fun. Bye. If you guys would like to take your shadows and highlights one step further so that your hand looks like this, please check out the next video called Bring It On Spring Week 3 Extras.